What is up, guys? Wraec is here with a new video, and today with another Flame Shrine attack. And we can see pretty much a little bit of a new team. We now got Gurky in here. He's kind of the new discovery. Well, not really in that sense. He's been used for a few months now. But what he does is basically provides a ton of holy damage, and that stacks up to pretty huge amounts and those for some crazy high rolls. I included him in this team, and I think the team you're now seeing on the screen, that is like the best team for Flame Shrine at the moment. Given we don't really know about Ithaca, getting Ithaca to competitive attack is really hard. You would have to upgrade like 4 basic heroes to T5, and I don't really have the materials for that, or the soul symbols to test it. And this is basically the best team with using a Transcendence hero, given the Transcendence hero can be upgraded pretty easily to high attack. So I tried LFA, I tried DTV, I tried Ferrokin Vessar and Star Swordsman Mockman, and from all of those, LFA seems to be the strongest for dealing damage, together with Drake and a boss that has defense down the background. Not all of them have that somehow, it's a little bit buggy. Some have it in the front row, but when you see that it is in the back row, then the point has come where LFA can really do damage. And then I tried different combinations of support with Gurky, Heartwatcher, Cruise, and having Drake, Gurky, and Heartwatcher seems to be best in general. And we will go over the abilities of every hero in a sec, but now we'll just get to the end card here with the juicy 2 quadrillion damage. It was really important for me to hit that. And I could do it, so that makes me kind of happy. Just barely, but it is done, so that's nice. So now I would say let's look over the team. I sadly don't have the same setup anymore that I had during the time I did the Flame Shrine attack. As you can see, my LFA is now chilling here as an E5, which mainly has the reason that I switched to an entirely new team. Also to test Phantom Defier Lena. We now have her with full sublimations, pretty decent copy, 48 speed. This one we summoned during the stream. From a B or a B minus core, I'm not quite sure, one of those, and that she's currently in testing, so that is more important. I went for the video, I got the video done with the 2 quadrillion, and now I instantly put that team away. But this was the copy of LFA that I used. I had 11 million attacks, so it was better. And I had full sublimations, though you don't really need that. What has way more impact is a solid attack stat. 6,471 is pretty substantial. And then we have the Giant Killer Defier crit damage. Usually on LFA you don't really go for Defier. You can do it if you run like a solo hero, clear hero, as we do on Amazon. But for general PvE, that is not really the stat you're looking for. Defier is only active in the top 30% of the life of the enemy, so target has to be above 70% of life, and then you deal 30% more damage, and that doesn't really do well together. Well, we can't really see it here. Do well together with this active skill. His active skill has a part in it, which we can see that here. After the attack, if the target's HP is lower than 40% and with sublimation 60%, deals 1200% of attack damage 2 times and restores self HP. Whatever. Basically, it's the double damage. You deal 1200% damage 2 times usually, and with that you deal another 1200% of damage. So it is quite good when you attack a boss to have him below that threshold. Flame Shrine bosses, on the other hand, they never go below that threshold. They are always at 100%, so every single attack we do can profit from Defier, which makes it pretty insane stat for Flame Shrine. Yeah, and as I bought this copy to do Flame Shrine, it naturally was nice to have Defier on it. A bit of crit damage never hurts, always very good, though I was a bit overcapped on crit damage, I have to say. But we take it. I think what might have been better, something along the lines of armor break, that would have been good, or holy damage, because I lost half of that stat of crit damage to the crit damage cap, and yeah, but it's a damage stat, and we got Giant Killer Defier here, so I don't complain. The copy was reasonably cheap, so that's quite good. Next thing we used was Drake. Then again, armor break, we don't need armor break. Just noticing that I use Drake, so yeah, Drake has defense down, probably know, and reduces the target 100% of armor, so naturally we don't need armor break. Damage reduction, all damage reduction, block and dodge, so those are things we don't really have to care about when we have him in the team, and that multiplied the damage by quite a lot. Then we use Heart Watcher, and Heart Watcher still has no V4 variant, which is very sad. I'm still hoping for her to become V4 at one point, and to have her active skill hit 3 instead of 2 random enemies. That would be rather nice for Flameshine, obviously. But her upside, obviously, is that we reduce the target 25% of attack, so we take some damage, some less damage, which, well, okay, we don't really need, but the main point is targets inflicted with Watcher Mark will take an extra 45% damage when attacked, and this effect stacks and caps at 300% damage. So we have basically 300% added damage with Heart Watcher. And then we have Wraec, which strips the enemy of all resistances. And then we have the Gurki, and the Gurki I was a little bit conflicted about. I thought, like, okay, maybe there are other options. We have Cruise, and Cruise has this weakness mark, which stacks with the Heart Watcher stuff, so it's a lot of damage, actually, not just the extra 50%. And then we have Olivia, which I saw on some teams, and that is a little bit likely the same. Reduces the all damage dealt and targets damage received. 1 second, that is more actually. And increases all the damage that chunk targets received by 40%. So that is also rather nice. But in comparison to Gurki, they can't really compete. Gurki is just insane. And the reason for that is, well, we should look at his V4 skill. Not too impressive, deals 240% of attack damage against 4 random enemies, restores 300% attack for 3 random allies, and then is the insane part, and increases them 30% of holy damage. And not just one time, that actually stacks and has no duration. So in the best case scenario, he hits our LFA 15 times for a total of 450% increased holy damage. Madness, I say. Madness. 450% is possible. Given he can't be faster than our LFA, so we never get the one on turn 15. It never has any effect, as any buff we obviously get after we did our last attack is not relevant. So the maximum is actually not 450, it's 420%, which has a charm in itself. But that is another story. But yeah, so those are really the heroes. I tried different combinations of Olivia, of all of those heroes, and the last one, the Heart Watcher Gurki Wraec combo, that stuck. And obviously we use our huge Transcendence hero supports with SQH. We have subs on her for the extra 25% chance to inflict another layer of Abyssal Corruption. The Abyssal Corruption makes the hero take 24% more crit damage. This stacks as well, so we can have multiple layers of it, and with the sublimation we can even apply up to 2 layers with 1 active skill. We do an active skill every round, and in contrast to Gurki, our Scarlet Queen Halora can be faster than our LFA, and we used that. I gave her home extra for that, and that obviously helps us to deal more damage, as every turn we can make use of that, and we get the 15th debuff on the enemy before our LFA attacks. We have some other nice stuff in here that is not too important. That is some heal, and here we actually have the 24% all damage dealt instead of 20% that you get from having the sublimation. And on the Mystic Fairy Freya, it's the standard stuff. The last two are rather important. We have an additional 10% precision here, and from the sublimation 12% attack, so this is another source of damage. And then on the last one, the evolutionary factor, where we gain 3 layers of evolutionary factor, grants 33% of its effect to all allies, and this extra damage to poison targets makes it rather insane. So all of that together ends up being this wonderful team that is still the same. We are using the Freya core, by the way. I didn't really say that. Freya core Pistol Essence grants us 20% attack, so that is pretty nice, and 20% speed, which can be a problem, because that switches around, and sometimes suddenly only the LFA has the 20 speed, but not the SQH and the MFF, so you have to fiddle a bit with the speed and see that SQH and MFF are, in best case, more than 20 speed faster than LFA. So that is really the thing. Unequipping shoes, always a good idea for that, doesn't hinder your damage and is very nice. That is the setup we used. We fought a boss that has CC, so we had to use Control Purify. If that wasn't the case, we would have gone for the Shared Fate for some extra attack. And for some bosses, I tend to go for attribute reduction, depending on what they really do with their attacks. Obviously, Endless Gain, still the best artifact for 15 round damage and beyond. And we use the crit damage, crit attack stone, which is a huge stone. It's an S6 stone. Also, we have T3 resonance gear, this 3-star soul resonance gear. Also by far the best gear. And beyond that, the T3 resonance gear, having those two things equipped is actually better than having the split gear. Split gear with 3 of those 6-star gears actually gives you less attack, so make sure you equip those 2 resonance gear items here. Those will give you the biggest amount of attack that you can have. Beyond that, not really much to say. It's a pretty standard team. Make sure your Aspen is aligned with the enemy that has defense down. And then you're basically good to go. 5 demon belts for around feet, and the new thing is basically the combination of the support heroes. And that leads us to true quadrillion damage, and likely beyond, actually, considering my LFA didn't really have the best tenants. We didn't go for slot 1 T5 tenant, nor did we go for slot 3 T5 tenant. We were just at around about 11 million attack, and 11 million attack is something a lot of players already surpassed. Some guildies of mine have 17 million attack LFAs, and those will deal substantially more damage in Flame Shrine than I can. And there are some people who took it even further and got some insane S tier tenants or something, and can go way beyond that. And maybe some of you guys did even more damage in Flame Shrine, and if you have, make sure to contact me. Maybe hook me up with a video so we can talk about it. Would be really nice. In general, I'm a big fan of Flame Shrine, you know it, and eager to see every record that you guys can come up with. So that was it, guys. I wish you guys a great day, and we will see us in the next one.